Hi guys, it's Lester here from the Transformation Station with my friend Louise Banks, and Louise had come to see me 2 years ago because, well, we're sorting all sorts of stuff, but one of the things that she'd mentioned was that she had epilepsy and myoclonic jerks, and I thought, well, let's see what we can do by speaking to the unconscious mind about it. And that was 2 years ago, and Louise's dream was to, what was your dream, Louise?
To get a driving licence.
And you've been denied it for how long?
28 years.
28 years, wow. So so I was just going to share a little bit of what's happened there, because Louise has just recently got her driving licence. Yeah, you've had it for about a month?
About a month now, yes.
Yeah, great. Okay, so so we're just going to share some of the excitement for that. So there's a previous video interview that we did before about healing myoclonic jerks. So if you have a search on that, search on Lester, Louise, you'll find it as well, and epilepsy. So so that was 2 years ago, and you came to see me. And just to recap a little bit, it was about 6 months later you noticed that you hadn't had any.
That's right.
Anymore, and since then you kind of like really got your life back. Really,
yeah, pretty much.
So what was going through your head between, well, first of all, when you discovered that it was possible that you could get a driver's license, when you started talking to doctors and things, and you said you've been stable for a while.
It was just really a sense of disbelief, really, that something that I was hearing, something that I could have only really have dreamt of, and I have to keep kind of correcting myself, to be honest, that it is actually a reality now, after having all these years of just wishing, and living in hope. Obviously we feel really free, and the freedom of being able to potentially learn to drive, providing I pass my test. However long that takes, I don't care. Time's not an issue. It'll be in less than 28 years anyway, I know that.
Brilliant.
So I'm just keeping an open mind, obviously, because I've got a lot to learn. I've only had 3 lessons, and been up to 2nd gear, so it's very much an open road, so a bit rocky, but I dare say we all learn at different paces, as the instructors say. It's just a natural progression, and so I feel really relieved in a sense, to be honest, and no longer in denial of something that I've wanted for so long.
It's so much fairer to you. That's great, and
and
it means that you can now, people don't have to give you lifts everywhere, and
nope.
You're not dependent on people.
Yep.
So that's wonderful. So what was your first driving lesson like? What did it feel like to be able to, just on the way going there? It must have been pretty exciting.
Oh yes, it was very good, and very minimal movements, obviously, just very slight movements in that, just with feeling the controls and everything, and the steering wheel, getting the feel of it, and what have you, as and just to compare the reality of steering a car from a PS3, which is the only kind of driving that I've been able to do around Monte Carlo, and these circuits on the driving Formula 1 circuits. So it's but it didn't feel too strange, thankfully. I sort of had a kind of relationship. I could feel the similarity, so it didn't feel too daunting, thankfully.
Yeah. Good.
I highly recommend it.
I hear you were crying tears of joy when you actually got your driver's license.
Yes, and
they held off giving it to you at first, didn't they?
They did. It was just a time factor, basically, that I had to wait for a few additional months. But of course, the longer I had with that little bit of space and time, it proved to myself and everyone that I was clear and able to sit it out, and after 100 days, I just after my second application in February of this year, I made a call to the DVLA, and I just asked them why is there a problem, and actually threatened to launch a complaint because of the delay for no reason whatsoever, and she asked me to hold the line, spoke to 2 other people, and the 3rd person I spoke with, and she came back and she said, yes, okay, you have a licence that's been processed, and it'll be valid from today and be with you in a couple of days' time.
And I got one of the first texts from you, and I remember you.
Yes.
It was brilliant. I got straight on the phone to you, and like, we were screaming and shouting, and it was like awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, for one thing, it was great for me as a hypnotherapist. Hypnotherapy can sometimes considered an alternative therapy, and there's a lot of people get use medication and all sorts of stuff, and there's room for all forms of healing. But the one thing that was amazing is it's kind of like a rubber stamp on, yes, this thing is resolved.
Confirmation.
Confirmation of official people, doctors, and
proof. Everyone
else are all saying this is good. So, and I've seen that with lots of different things that I've helped people with. So, one of the things that's great as well for as well as my part in it was your part of setting the intention of, I am going to get this resolved.
Yes.
And you put yourself forward, and I saw you on my course, and then you opened up to possibility, and you paid for the session yourself, and all these things, and then you followed up on the license thing.
Yes.
You've done all that stuff. So without all of those factors that you did, this wouldn't have happened either. So it is really, really incredible, and I'm really proud of you, and I'm so grateful that you share your story and your testimony, because a lot of times I help people with a lot of stuff that can be quite sensitive stuff.
Yep.
And they get huge life transformation, and we're not always able to talk about it or to share about it, and I really respect their privacy, and obviously that's something that's very important. It's really nice so that you're able to come forward and chat about it, because it means people will maybe open up to doing other things, not just helping with epilepsy. So
I think as well it's a proof, I think, to express the fact that it's possible. We all live with the doubt thing in life, over lots of things, and question ourselves over things. So I think a lot of it's got to do with just moving forward and proving to yourself as well as everyone else, and just really showing that it is possible, and the more that can be done, then it can be a progression in attitude, in professionals, doctors and things can actually look at this evidence and say yes, that it is genuinely true, that it can happen and does.
Oh, that's brilliant. I really appreciate that. I was actually speaking to my own doctor, and one of the reasons I got involved in hypnotherapy was I had a situation where I went to the doctor, and I had a sort of bullying situation at work, and I was getting quite stressed about it, and he said, look, you don't need medication, you just need to get out of that situation, and I was grateful for that. And later on down the line he said, how are you doing? And I said, well, I'm now a hypnotherapist, and I now help to empower people who have lost their power, and he said, well, that's brilliant. He says, because the more people who you can help, the more people you keep from having to come to my door, because I'm really busy and I appreciate anything you can do to help people.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, so they really are opening up, and so I always say stay open to all forms of healing. You could be getting a message that to actually go and see your doctor or something like that, and it may actually be the thing that you need. So and also likewise, if you come and see someone like myself, and I see it's like teamwork. See what we can do.
I think as well an important factor now is that in the 21st century, and just in the last few years alone, I think everybody knows the word mental health, and it's becoming a very common term now, and it's being spoken about very openly now. And I think more people who can admit to themselves that they have something that is treatable, and do the research and they can get through it, you know. But it's just having the belief really that that it can and that can be resolved, you know, whatever it can be from any angle of life, you know, because it affects so many people in so many different ways and situations. And so it is something that I'm very, very feel very strongly about telling other people to, you know, please, you know, seek help, and you will feel the benefits of it without doubt.
Yeah, and I'll put some links underneath this so you can get in touch with me, or find, or if you want to speak to Louise or anything, let me know and I'll get that message to her. And yeah, so just to say thank you very much, and I really appreciate you coming out on this lovely day to this beautiful place.
Yes.
and sharing your story. So
That's
thank
all
you
right.
very much.
Yeah.